Okay, first thing you want to do is turn the system on. It's going to boot. It's going to go through its booting process, give you the revision number, pulse, or standard. We're using a pulse width modulation signal here. Right when it says no speed, first thing we're going to do is go into calibration mode. It's the CAL button. And if you notice, there's a green line that tracks the outside settings. So whenever you go into cal mode, you're setting the outside settings, not the settings that are inside the panel. Hold the calibration button down a few seconds. The red light comes on, let go. Once it comes on, we know we're in calibration mode. First thing you want to set is your flow meter calibration number. That number will be on the side of the flow meter, whether it's our LF750 or standard 750 or our mag meter. That number will be on the side of the flow meter. You'll basically hit the plus or minus button to set that. Once you set the calibration number on any of these settings, you want to go out of calibration mode, go back into calibration mode, and make sure that the setting's set. Now you could set all of the settings that we're going to do and then go out of calibration and go back in, but doing it this method allows us to ensure that the setting did take immediately, and then we can go on to our next setting. Now we're going to go to the with cal. This is where you're going to set the booms. We're going to have 3 booms up here. When they're all off, it's going to say no boom. Anytime you turn one on, it's going to tell you the width of that boom section. If you only have one section, we'll set boom 1. If you're doing all 3 sections or 3 booms, we'll set each one. All you got to do is turn the boom on. Right now we have this on a 6-row 30. 6 times 3 is 180, so we'll set it to 180. Go out of calibration mode. Go back in. The setting took. Turn boom 1 off. Turn boom 2 on. And if we're not using boom 2, we'd leave it at 0. But let's say, just as an example, I set it to 1. Just you go out. Go back in. Notice how it took. You're immediately getting verification that it did take. So we're not going to use boom 2. So I'm going to set it to 0. Boom 2. My boom is set to 0 there as well on boom 3. Now if you notice, when I go to boom 1, there is a 1 on the screen. Boom 2, I'm working with boom 2, and boom 3. That way it shows you exactly which boom you're setting. And it tells you there as well that you're in cal mode. So now that we have all 3 booms set, we go to speed cal. On the side here, that's basically going to set the calibration number to your GPS speed sensor. It's a factory default at 0.189, and in the manual it'll show you different speed sensors and what the speed setting is for those. Next step is we're going to go to rate, and on the rate, you notice it says 5.3. You just basically set that to whatever rate you want, and whatever rate you set it to, it's going to stay. So if I put it on 5.6 and I go out of calibration mode, and if I come back into calibration mode, it's 5.6. If I set it to 5.3, go out, come back in, I'm at 5.3. Now, if I'm out of calibration mode and I'm at 5.3 and I want to move it up to 5.5, 5.6, no problem. It'll run that, it'll lock in on that rate. But as soon as you shut the system off, go back into calibration mode, it's going to be always set to 5.3. So that's a setting it's going to take whenever you're in calibration mode. Next we set our speed, and this is where you can test the system. The way I like to do it, I like to put the system in hold. I set my speed to whatever target speed I'm going to go out in the field. If it's 4.7, 5.3, whatever speed you're going to achieve or that you plant at, that's the speed you'll set here. And this is a perfect opportunity to test your system with water. Make sure there's no leaks, make sure the rate locks in, make sure everything looks good. So right now I'm at 5.3, my rate 5.4, I'm going to set it to 5.0. It's in hold because I have it on hold here. It's in auto, I can go to auto, or manual mode. We want to go to auto because we want it to automatically lock in on our rate. So my boom 1 is on, I put it to run, the system's going to prime, it jumps up. You'll look at the rate right up here. We have locked in immediately to 5.0. Take it to your speed. Your speed's at 5.3. You take it to your flow, minimum flow. This is your gallons per minute that are being produced off of your 5 gallons an acre and 5.3 miles per hour. So now if you notice when I set my rate, it goes up in increments of tenths, so 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. If you want it to go up quicker, like let's say if you go from 6.0 to 6.5 to 7.0, then what you do is you go over, set this to 0.5, but notice if I push it now, it still does 10. So we have to go over and set your speed to any speed, go back, and now you're set to a 0.5 decimal. If you want it to go up even to from 6 to 7 and so forth, we'll set this up to 1 again. Let's say, so we'll set this back to 0. And then we're going to set this to 1. Then we go back to, and there's your increments of 1.